My wife cheated, so I took her affair partner's wife on a surprise double date. My wife, Jane, and I had been together for a solid 10 years. We had our ups and downs, but overall, I thought we were pretty happy. That all came crashing down a few months ago when I discovered she was cheating on me with this guy named Chad from her office. She accidentally forgot to log out of her Facebook Messenger on the laptop. I heard the little ding go off, and lo and behold, it was a message from Chad. At first, I about came off the rails, but instead, I decided to keep my cool and think before I reacted. My brother had been through this, and he always said that if he had it to do over, he would have been methodical and would have done something huge to bring it all down. He feels horrible for not having done so. I did not want to feel that way. I needed to get my anger out, but in an eventful way, so that when I walked out of the ashes, I wouldn't be the only one hurt. Maybe getting revenge would actually help me heal, while also teaching her a lesson that you can't be stupid and not face some consequences. So I knew I had to do something about it, but I wanted to be sure that the revenge would be absolutely nuclear. After a few days of plotting and scheming, I realized that the best course of action would be to involve Chad's wife, Sarah. I messaged Sarah on Facebook and asked her if we could talk over the phone. I figured that she would want to know about her husband's infidelity, and maybe she could help me put an end to the affair. To my surprise, Sarah was incredibly cool and collected about the whole thing. Instead of freaking out or getting upset, she actually wanted to get revenge too. Then she came up with a devious plan that would ensure both of our cheating partners would get a taste of their own medicine. Sarah suggested that we go out on a date when we knew Jane and Chad would be sneaking around together. We would make sure they saw us cheating on them too. This would really mess with their heads and also provide some fantastic nuclear revenge. I have to admit, I was hesitant at first, but the more I thought about it, the more I loved the idea. We talked on and off for a few days as we both started looking for signs and potential times when they would be getting together. We finally figured out that Jane and Chad would be meeting up at a swanky bar on Friday night, on the other end of the city. Friday came, and Jane said she was just going to be going out to eat with one of her friends, and then they were going to go shopping for a bit. I played along, heart thumping in my chest, knowing what was up my sleeve. Chad told Sarah that he and the guys were going to go axe throwing or something, but we knew where they were really going. So, Sarah and I decided that we would go on our date and then accidentally bump into them there, just to see the looks on their faces. We even agreed to dress up and look amazing. And on a side note, Sarah actually did look amazing, which didn't hurt a thing. When my wife was leaving, I acted completely normal. When she was officially in her car and driving away, I went into quick action and got ready for mine and Sarah's big night on the town. I picked up Sarah and we began to drive, talking excitedly about how this was going to go. We both also felt waves of sadness and frustration for even having to do this, but the adrenaline kept us going and on our path to revenge. When we arrived at the bar, we spotted Jane and Chad in a cozy corner, laughing and smiling and flirting with each other. My heart raced as Sarah and I walked over to a table just far enough away to not be immediately noticed, but definitely viewable from their location. So there we were, hand in hand, pretending that all was well and normal. We walked to our table, sat down, and ordered some drinks and an appetizer, each one of us peeking over until finally they noticed us. The moment they saw us was absolutely priceless. Their eyes went wide, and they looked like they had just seen a ghost. I could practically see the cogs turning in their heads as they tried to process what was happening. Sarah quickly said, "They see us. You should kiss me." For a split second, I couldn't even imagine doing that. But then a moment later, I gave in and gave Sarah a nice, long, passionate kiss, fueled by our mutual anger. I rubbed my eyes and peeked through my hands and could see them all in a tizzy, a mix of emotions. They must have been feeling furious, exposed, confused. The list could go on and on. Then finally, after about 15 minutes of our laughter and flirting, Chad finally mustered up the courage to come over and confront us. He stammered something about it being a huge coincidence that we were both there and demanded to know what was going on. I played it cool, acting like it was no big deal. "Oh, hey, Chad," I said as if we were old friends. "What a surprise to see you here. Sarah and I just decided to grab a drink for the hell of it. You remember Sarah, don't you? She's your wife." Chad's face went beet red and he started to stutter even more. Jane, who had been watching the whole interaction from their table, looked horrified and like she was about to cry. Before he could say anything else, Sarah chimed in. "Oh, come on, Chad. It's not like we're doing anything wrong. We're just two people having a good time, just like you and Jane." The look on their faces was absolutely priceless. They were both caught red-handed, and they knew it. Chad, clearly at a loss for words, mumbled some excuse about needing to use the restroom and then quickly disappeared. Jane, on the other hand, couldn't take it anymore. She stood up from her seat, tears streaming down her face, and stormed out of the bar. It was clear that she never expected to be on the receiving end of her own deceit. What an idiot. With our mission accomplished, Sarah and I shared a high five and a knowing glance. The satisfaction of knowing that we had successfully turned the tables on our cheating spouses was indescribable. We stayed at the bar for a while longer, finishing our drinks and getting to know each other better. Despite the circumstances that had brought us together, we realized that we actually had a lot in common and enjoyed each other's company. As the night went on, Sarah and I exchanged stories about our marriages, how we had tried to make things work, and how we had each been let down by our partners. It was therapeutic to be able to share my pain with someone who understood it so deeply. When it was time to leave, I took her home, and we both promised to keep in touch. We knew that there were going to be some difficult conversations and decisions ahead of us, but at least we had each other for support. Over the next few weeks, both of our marriages crumbled. Jane and Chad were both extremely remorseful, but it was too little, too late. Sarah and I supported each other through the process of filing for divorce and dealing with the emotional fallout that followed. In the end, our little revenge plot did more than just teach our cheating spouses a lesson. It brought two people together who were dealing with immense heartache, and it gave us the strength to move on from the past. Now, I'm not saying that Sarah and I are a couple or anything. It's way too early for that. But we have become really good friends, and who knows what the future might hold. But in the end, it doesn't matter if that goes any further. We have helped each other a lot during this time, and that in and of itself has been great. So there you have it, my story of nuclear revenge on my cheating wife and her stupid affair partner. Well executed. What do you think? Is there anything you would have done differently? Let us know in the comments below. When you subscribe, be sure to click the notification bell. Click here for more cheating stories.